Time for the next episode, harmonic dunun. Today we're going to go with Aconcon, which is a rhythm from Senegal. I used to play this a lot when I lived in California many years ago, because we had a big Senegalese influence there, especially led by the late, great Abdoulaye Diakité, rest in peace. So I'm going to present the harmonic dunun version. We didn't usually play three dunus, to tell you the truth, as often is not played in djembe, but I'm going to give that in the harmonic version. Here we go. Trial 3, a bit slower. Okay, so when I was working with that, I noticed I'm doing a lot of it on the right hand. So I started coming up with other ways. And one of the things I thought that was interesting, that was worth presenting at the end here, where we get into more of the weeds, is another way to do it, which relies on this motion. Okay, so first I'll present it and I'll show you some of the ideas behind it. If I go something like this. I'm dividing the hand work between the hands more, although it does require some quick jumps from drum to drum. The reason I think it's a pretty interesting concept is if you look at what part of the rhythmic matrix these rhythms tap into, we have this one that's quite obviously on all the beats. Quarter notes, you'd call it. This one takes some of the ands, if we're counting one E and so in between, so we get. I played all of them. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I want to present a concept where I'm considering all of these in quotes, downbeats. In the terminology, the way I'm using it, the terms downbeat and upbeat depend on the density of the matrix that you're looking at, right? So if I'm just playing 1, 2, 3, 4, I could consider 1 and 3 down, 2 and 4 up, right? Like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Often those are called backbeats. But different terminology here. Okay, so now if I'm playing 1, 2, 3, 4 as down, and I'm playing ands with them, I could consider the ands as the upbeats, right? And 2, and 3, now if I'm playing 1 and 2 of that same thing all in one hand, or I'm going to a 16th note, a 4 to the beat matrix, like 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a, then we can start seeing 1 and ands, or the beat and the ands as the down, and the 16th in between, in other words, the E's and the U's as the upbeat. So like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So that's the level of density I'm talking about. So with that, if I'm considering all these downs in the rhythm that we're doing, Aconcon, we're going and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, and then the bass drum is landing on a couple of the main beats, but it's also hitting those E-Us. So we have. So if we thought of the concept like this, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and a 1, E, and a 2, E, and a 3, E, and a 4, E, and a 1, E, and a 2, E, and a 3, E, and a 4. It kind of gives you another technical thing to work on, and a conceptual way to think of this down and up at this density referent. All right, so again, this brings us to we could even take that same idea into dotted note, as I've discussed in other videos, so that we cross the tongue. So this motif, this consistent motif, I could break it up into groups of 3 structure. So this becomes a new motif. Right? Group of 3. So now we can cross the beat with it. Okay, I've moved the drums around to further illustrate the concept we were just working on. I have legs on my drums, so I'm not dependent on the big one being in the middle. I used to play with Abdul Doumbia a lot and accompany him for his classes. And this is the way he liked to do it. So it's a whole other concept, which I will briefly discuss, since we're in the discussion section of the video, which is that within this concept, he would often play straight time, sometimes other things, but straight time on these two, and then put the main part, usually like the songwon part, on the low drum. And that would allow him to play harmonically in a different sort of way, in that he's keeping time, but also able to do all the cool traditional variations. And it really gives the rhythm a lot of life and a lot of a link to the traditional sound in that way, because you're playing the variations both from the lead drum, which usually actually is the low drum, and the songbon kind of middle drum. Anyway, that's that concept. I won't go any further into it. So the reason it works really well in this case is I can go back and forth with the left hand. I'm just on I'm calling them downs, but you can call them and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and then fit this one over. So in this case, let me practice a little and do my pairs again. It's always a good idea. Start from 0 every day. Try some of these concepts again, including the dotted note. So that's a bit on the palette. Probably, I don't know if you have the ability to switch your drums, switch the order around, but it's just another way to think of that concept. Or you can play with the first concept, the second. As always, just work on this stuff as a way to hear the parts of the rhythm, hear how they fit together, help you remember them because you know their relationships, help hear their relationships, which helps you to gain some independence, and help your technique, because sometimes you have to fling your hands around pretty fast to get all three of these parts in. But that's what we're working on, and I hope this is a helpful gift to you. That's my intention, to help people see a different perspective on these beautiful traditional rhythms and on rhythmic concept in general. And if you like all of that, then give me comments, tell me what you want, and like and subscribe and all that stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Hey there, special addendum. I want to put a so-called ballet version on each of these videos so you have something that's easy to move to when you need to go fast and long. And also, I want to try and incorporate just a little bit of the harmonic concept in there. So one that I came up with for this rhythm, Aconcon, comes from the Faratolno version, which goes like this. So I thought in between those two E-us on the low drum that we discussed, we'll put another kinkany in there. So we do this. Notice I'm bringing my left hand over for that last bass note because there's time, allows things to just flow. That's how I like it. So I'll start slow, see what you think.